Hi there, I'm Laura Goellner. Welcome to our mindful mobility practice, where we use the wisdom of mindfulness to create a stronger relationship, stronger awareness with our body. And our focus today is going to be on some movements through the neck. This is a place where a lot of us hold a lot of tension. It's where a lot of our stress goes. So we'll work on playing with some ways to bring awareness and softness to these spaces as we go through our active joint movements through our yoga practice. We'll start by settling into any comfortable seated position where you feel like you can rest for a moment. Either dropping your gaze down softly or maybe closing your eyes if that feels okay. The concept of mindfulness that we're working with today is the process of drawing your attention in, purposely dropping awareness into the body so that you can be with the sensations that come up, especially as you move. And that dropping your awareness into the body is a key step in creating a good relationship with your body. Like any relationship that we have with other people, communication is a key part of that. The same goes for our body. When we have good listening and we're able to respond constructively, that builds strong relationship. And that's one of the things that we do over and over in our yoga practice. Good, we'll start to ever so gently circle the shoulders up and back. This is our first piece of playing with effort. Can I do this with maybe 20 or 30% effort so that it feels like a really soft glide? Anytime you want to exhale through the mouth, pursed lip exhale to let something go, to release something that you're feeling physically or emotionally. You can always use that as a tool. Okay, give a little shimmy to the shoulders to invite some soft playfulness into this area, and then we'll bring awareness to the neck. Start to slowly rotate your head from side to side, and it's like your eyes are just sliding across the room. Gentle effort, slow movement. Taking in all the sights around you as the head moves from side to side. When you come back into center, looking down, your feet, your legs, coming up, looking toward the ceiling. Feel that space through your neck and back into center. Good little shoulder wiggle to let go of effort. It's very common for us to use too much effort to move the head. It's just that pattern of holding and constriction that can really build up in our neck muscle. So our mindful process of reprogramming, recalibrating the muscles is to invite softness, invite ease. Notice what that feels like. Okay, we'll start to play with the head from side to side. Drop your ear toward one shoulder. You don't have to push into that sensation, just gentle movement to explore first. Drop your head to the other side. All right, then as your head comes over, we'll go into kind of this classic yoga stretch. We take the hand on the same side, we gently place it onto the side of the head. Take a breath to feel where that creates opening. And then we'll come back up to the center. So that was our stretch. Now we're going to play with this pattern that we call contract, relax, which is exactly what it sounds like, which is nice. You take I'm going to use my left hand on the left side of my head. Lots of contact with the palm and the fingers. Head straight in the center. With about 10 or 20% effort, start to press your head toward your hand, and your hand stays there and provides gentle resistance. There's no movement, so it's an isometric. We're feeling gentle activation through the neck, and then release. Okay, we'll do that one more time. The hand creates this firm, steady resistance, but it's really the head and the neck that are pushing toward the hand. The hand is very still. Maybe 20 or 30% effort in the neck. Good, release that. Left hand drops toward the floor. Tent your fingers so the arm is long. Right hand rests on the side of the head. Create some space. Soft breath. Go start to make even more space there. Lift the left fingers out, turn the thumb down, sweep that behind your back, but it is our active internal rotation. There's space between your hand and the back. You're floating. Come out to the side, reach long, thumb on top. Drop the thumb down, scoop that behind the back. Good, one more time like that. Open. Drop the thumb, reach behind your back. Come back up to center. Okay, roll the shoulders. Just the same way that we started. Turn your head from side to side. Very soft effort. Glide your eyes along the horizon from one side of the room to the other. Notice the difference in feeling between the left and the right side. And then come back into center. Okay, the head tips left ear to left shoulder. The hand rests gently on the opposite side of the head. Curiously asking yourself, how does this side feel? What's going on over here? Good, make some length down through your fingertips. And we'll come back up to center. So there's the stretch. Okay, that's the relax. And now we do the contract. Right hand finds lots of space on the side of your head. And you're pressing the head into your hand. 20% effort, maybe 30%. So it's a very soft effort. Just enough to feel, what does contraction feel like in my neck muscles? Release. Completely let that effort go. Hand comes onto the side of the head, gentle pressure. What does that low level of effort feel like? Notice if there's a tendency where your body's like, that's not enough. I have to work harder. And you're like, actually, no. Right now we're practicing soft effort. This is a new pattern. Good, release that. Right arm gets long, tent the fingertips on the mat. Left hand settles on the opposite side of the head to create space. Start to reach the right arm up for length. And here's where we get to play with the shoulder, that relationship between neck and shoulder. Thumb on top, and then drop the thumb down, reach behind the back, little internal rotation with the shoulder. But we hover, unfold that arm, reach it out to the side, thumb on top, scoop the thumb down behind the back. Good, one more time like that, open it out. The fingertips can come down, land on the mat. You can release that side of your head. As you find center, give a shoulder wiggle. Gentle head sway. Can you peel away effort and tension from the shoulders with your breath? Okay. Also noticing how much awareness you have here now. We've been spending a lot of time directing our attention into the neck. We're going to take that with us over into tabletop, hands and knees. This is an interesting experience for the neck because we bring ourselves against the pull of gravity. If you think about the line of gravity going straight down toward the ground, now the back of our neck muscles are actually holding our head up. So this is a kind of a sneaky strength move for our neck. Okay, start to roll through your cat and cow. But when we're doing a more focused, mobility-based practice, I'll very often approach cat and cow like a wave. It starts at the tailbone, you drop the tailbone, it rolls up the spine, one vertebra at a time. Head drops. Start the opposite wave from the head. Head lifts up, upper back, mid back, lower back, tailbone. Tuck the tail, wave up through the spine, very focused. Lift the tailbone, wave up to the top. So you can play back and forth. Do I want that wave to start from my tailbone and move up to the head? Or do I want that wave to start from my head and work its way down to the tailbone? Notice if one is easier than the other. For me, working from the pelvis up feels a lot easier, a lot smoother. When I go the opposite direction and I try to start from my head, there's a bit more awkwardness. My brain has to work harder to try to figure that out. So one of the things we work with in this practice is neuroplasticity. When we feel that awkwardness, when we feel that coordination challenge, that is our sign that we've entered the land of neuroplasticity. If it's too easy, it's probably not helping to strengthen our brain. Okay, coming into neutral, find the middle. Give a little wiggle, a little shake. Attention comes into the neck to feel like your neck is coming straight out of the rest of your spine rather than dropping the head forward or lifting the head too high. Where does that middle ground feel like? Okay, then we're going to start an alternating lift with our arms. I call this like a marching movement. Take your right palm, lift it straight up, pull the back of your shoulder toward the ceiling. So you invite some thoracic rotation. Right palm plants, left hand reaches up and down. The key here is keeping the elbow pretty straight. Notice if the elbow wants to bend to help. But for right now, try to keep the elbow straight and feel that lift, squeezing the shoulder blade back, lifting the side of the rib cage, placing it back down. Where do you feel the effort? Where do you feel stretch? Good. Okay, shake that out for the arms. Think same movement pattern with your legs and your pelvis. We're going to lift the right knee and the right shin. The right side of the pelvis lifts up toward the ceiling. Place that down. Lift the left knee, left shin. So we get some rotation through the pelvis and the lower back. Does that feel easy? Or does it feel like it is challenging your brain to communicate with that part of your body? Yeah, I just noticed that I was looking down toward my legs as I did that movement. And as soon as I realized that, I gave myself a little posture adjustment to bring the head back into alignment. But that's kind of a cue. If you're trying to look at that part of the body, it means that the brain doesn't feel as internally connected and you're trying to get more feedback. So it's not necessarily bad. It's actually a really good technique to use your vision. But to give yourself a little more challenge, taking away that visual input and just feeling into the movement. What is that internal experience? Good. Lower yourself back toward child's pose. But it's what I like to call a long child's pose, meaning we're reaching through the arms, we're reaching back through the sides of the hips. There's a little sense of decompression, of space. Okay, then we'll start to scoop the chest really low, move out toward your belly, lifting up through the upper back, lifting through the neck. Find a low cobra. Give a little shimmy to the shoulders. Good. Make sure that you're not over-efforting, always watching out for that. Am I trying too hard to force my body to make this shape? When we get to that point of forcing, it's really not helpful. Okay, exhale, lower that down. Press the hands into the mat. Come back, high child's pose. This time, I'm going to tuck my toes underneath so I get a little stretch through the back of my heels and the underside of the foot, that plantar fascia. But it also helps with that long line back through the sit bones, back through the pelvis. Decompress, find your space. Okay, scoop the chest, slide out toward the belly. This time we lift gently through the neck, draw back through the shoulders. We'll take an active cobra, lifting the hands. Hands float, elbows reach toward the ceiling. So you work your breath against gravity. It's really strengthening for the muscles of breathing, but also asking yourself, how's the angle of my neck? Don't over effort to look too far forward. What feels like a natural arc in your neck? Okay, drop the hands down. As you lower the head toward the floor, you can drop forehead to the mat, or you can stack the hands, rest the forehead, let the head rock from side to side. Very gentle effort. Come back into center. Let the full weight of your head sink into support. You can use your breath to let go of effort. Saying kindly to yourself, I can soften, I can let that go. Okay, we'll start to lift away from the floor. Bring your hands back, press back toward table. And here's where we're going to start to play with our lunge. Really nice for the hips. So you're going to lift the right hand away from the floor. It creates this big open space here, and that's where the right leg is going to step up toward a lunge. If you normally have trouble stepping up toward lunge, this can be a nice way to change your movement pattern. Like when we're usually trying to cram the leg in between the hands, that's really pretty challenging for a lot of people, myself included. Okay, pull the left hand away, step the left foot into that space, rock into your lunge. Rock back, step back, lean toward that high child's pose. As you rock forward, right hand lifts, right foot steps into it. Lunge, rock back, step back. Find some length. Come forward, lift the other hand, step the other leg. Really nice alternating left and right side. Find your pace. A little bit of space for you to play with your pacing. Does it feel good going a little faster? This is that time for you to play with your pacing. Does it feel good going a little faster or a little slower? And these last couple rounds, what I want you to try to do is go really slowly with that step up, especially because we get to focus on that feeling of hip flexion, of really using the front hip muscles to bring that foot up there. After you do that slow step up, expand through the top arm to find an active twist. Reach up through the top fingertips, turn your head to look at the top hand. You bend the elbow, just like we've been doing, step the foot back, replace the hand, lengthen back through the tailbone. Over to the other side, hand comes up, step the foot, top arm grows long toward the ceiling. See how it feels to turn your gaze up. Bend the elbow, rock yourself back, step back, plant the hand. Okay, so we'll go over to the other side, step that foot up, find your open twist, and we'll do a bit of opening and closing through the upper back, very closely related to the neck. So top hand, that's my right hand, I'm going to scoop underneath like I'm trying to drop my elbow toward the floor. Almost like I'm going to touch the arch of my foot. Unfold, elbow reaches up, hand reaches up, space, push the supporting hand into the floor, scoop down, reach down with your elbow point. And you might be able to touch the floor or get pretty close, but even if you can't, I have quite a bit of space there. So it gives you a target that you're reaching toward, where your effort is being directed. Folding down, reaching toward that target. Unwinding through the upper back. Reach through the arm. And folding. As you pay really close attention to your movement and your sensation, every time you come down, you might get closer to the floor. Don't force it. But if the movement pattern evolves, notice that. Okay, last one. Opening all the way up on this side. Bend the elbow, step that foot back. Come back through your high child's pose, lengthen. Okay, other side. Same thing, lift the hand, step the foot up slowly. Try to challenge your hip flexors. And we'll start to expand the top arm into a big T-twist. Playing with rotation here. Hand comes down, you start to scoop down like you're reaching your elbow toward your heel or toward your arch. Opening up through the shoulder. Reach the elbow, reach the fingertips. Curling down and uncurling. And when you play with rotation, especially on the second side, you've had some time to warm up. So it might start to take on a bit more of a fluid rolling quality. When things get really smooth, it means that our brain has lots of connection there. There's good coordination, good communication. Noticing how the sensation in that movement pattern evolves. And you might find some movement around the edges, but we're not forcing into it. If some extra room becomes available, you can work into it, but don't force it. Okay, last time you open, hold it up at the top. Again, bring that hand down. So instead of rocking all the way back, we're going to lift that back knee. We can start to wiggle the front foot in between the hands, and then we'll just take a step up to the top of the mat, whatever is the easiest way to find your way up into a forward bend. Exhale into gravity. Inhale, half lift. Find some length. Reach end to end through the spine. Exhale, release down. Pressing the feet into the floor. Feel that active engagement. Inhale, ripple up through the body. growing tall. Exhale, hands toward the heart. And as you stand here, feel that length up through the spine. Feel that supported by the feet and the legs pushing toward the floor. It's like you're growing tall against gravity. Release the arms. We're going to do a little bit of a neck stretch that I kind of think of as the secret to getting a good neck stretch. And that is being able to isolate the neck from the shoulders, because we know sometimes like the whole body wants to turn because there's so much tightness in here. So when we take one away from the other, we can get a lot more specific. Great way to do that is take the hands into yoga mudra. Gently squeeze the shoulders back, expand through the chest. As you hold the shoulders back there, glide your head from side to side. Very soft effort. Scan the horizon. Can I remind my neck what it feels like to be soft? To have just the right amount of effort, not too much. Use your breath to let anything go. Come back towards center. So as long as your arms are doing well, give a little extra squeeze back with the shoulders. And we'll do the same thing up and down, gazing up. Open up through the front of your throat. Exhale down. You don't have to push as far as you can possibly go. You don't have to go to the very end of your movement, especially if that creates a feeling of strain. Sometimes rocking in the middle is really effective at reminding our neck how to be gentle. Good. Come back to center. Roll through the shoulders. So this time be really generous with those rolls up and back. And the whole body might start to get into that. So a little bit of a somatic wave through the body. Think like cat and cow wave, but we're in standing now, so we can kind of play with the arms more. Come up to the top and just ask yourself, how would it feel good to move my neck? Slow and soft, no rush. No particular way that you have to move. Just open exploration. If the body says that something feels good, you can move toward that. If the body gives you sensation that communicates, I don't like that, that doesn't feel very good, we go, okay, I hear that. We don't have to do that. So there's a communication to let your neck know that you were taking care of it. Right back into the center, give a little shake through the arms, a shake through the body. 2 really nice exhales. Inhale, sweep the arms up, exhale down. 1 more. Find your way up to the top of the mat. Start to soften into gravity. As you come down, be especially aware of your head getting to soften into that pull of gravity. Do you need to rock? Do you need to swivel? Good. We'll step one leg back and then the other leg back, rocking back toward some version of child's pose. Whatever version of child's pose feels the best for you, as long as you can rest the head on something, the hands, the mat, a block. Give your neck that space to rest.
we come back to that idea, that internal experience of reassurance. Right now I can soften. I can lean into this experience of support, and I get to let go. Without forcing yourself to soften, without expecting yourself to immediately relax. Just giving yourself space and noticing, what does it feel like when I tell myself that?
And slowly press into the floor and come up to sit. However you want to sit is totally fine. We'll rest for a moment at the end of our practice if you want to stay sitting to absorb your practice, or if you want to stretch yourself out on the mat for a few moments to really feel that experience of support. I invite you to take that time to absorb the work that you've done and to reinforce that experience of internal awareness and internal communication that we are working on in this practice. Thank you so much for joining me in mindful mobility, using these little gems from mindfulness to create connection in our life. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next practice.